So Enlightened Bitch here, and I wanted to touch on the whole thing with the concepts and the little bullet pointed things in my intro that I'm going to be talking about. And even though it doesn't show it at the beginning, there's a little section in there that talks about seeking to understand before being understood. And to me, that's really, really critical for us right now. We're at a pivotal point in our collective evolution as a group of beings. And I think it's really a big deal that we start making a conscious and concerted effort to understand before seeking to be understood. We need to understand what conscious choices we made collectively and individually that got us to where we are right now. So the spirituality versus religion section is going to cover, a little bit about different doctrines and religious syncretism, which I'm fascinated about. Astrotheology, which I've been fascinated with since I was a child, but that term didn't exist when I was a child. When I started learning about theology and astrology. Theology when I was 5, because my grandfather was a minister. I started reading the Bible when I was 5. If you've been following me for a while, you know that. And then I started learning about astrology when I was around 7. So anyway, and to me, like what I personally feel like happened to kind of throw us off is that there were some people who were naturally able to have these beautiful, amazing, mystical experiences. Because spirit works from the inside out. It doesn't work from the outside in. So when you see people worshiping these idols and this and that and the other, it's a way for them to connect because they might be a little more challenged to have these inner experiences, these inner mystical experiences. So that's kind of a way for them to try to evoke that. And I also believe that, it's highly probable way back then when all these different philosophers and great thinkers were having conversations that some of them would talk about their mystical experiences. Some of them would explain about their vivid and color dreams that they were having. And some people don't dream in color. They just don't. Some people don't know how to fly in their dreams. Like they're very, very grounded in their physicality. And so it's not very... There's a way that I want to say this. It's more of a challenge for them to go out into these other realms and to connect in these higher realms. So, yeah, I don't want to, there's no judgment with that because I couldn't even fathom if I couldn't dream in color. And I've flown in my dreams since I was a child, so I couldn't imagine being that way. I don't know, but I think that probably started causing some rifts with people, and people seeing other people as being different than them because they couldn't do these things. And maybe it had something to do with people having calcified pineal glands. I have played with that, but we're not going to go too much into that right here. So we're going to be defining words more with regards to belief and believe, which has the word lie in it, belie. If you want to play with the dictionary and look at that, look at the etymology of that, because etymology is a big, big deal. We need to learn about the roots of these words. We're going to be going into duality more and why there was a need for us to have this opposite with right and wrong, light and dark, and why we sense and see things the way that we do and how we're supposed to learn from that, or how can we learn from that. We're going to go deeper into the knowings of the expressions of masculine and feminine energies. And a while back, I did a little post on masculine and feminine consciousness. I'm going to go deeper into that, how that plays out. And obviously, this is not gender specific. And I think that's a big reason why we're seeing such a big explosion of people in the LGBTQIA community right now. And I do call them way showers. I identify as bisexual. Way showers, because you have to understand that from the beginning, one of the most suppressed texts is the Nag Hammadi, and it breaks down so much, and we have to understand and overstand that the biggest crime that was committed was separating and splitting the sexes, because originally the original being was both. It was an androgynous being, okay? And if you look at it from a few different standpoints, it would almost look like that original being was like some type of a Siamese. So it was male and female. And if you read, if you subscribe to the Bible, which is a very interesting text, it says God created them, they, them, not he and she, them. And then Adam was split into two, okay? So, but we're not going to go too deep into that right now. Then I have another section called Humanity's Opportunities, which obviously we have many, many areas of opportunity right now. I think a big one is us understanding archetypes, and we'll go deeper into that. And then obviously ending racism. We need to understand about isms in the first place, and how the definition of racism has changed and evolved, and what it means to be a racist versus being prejudiced or being a bigot. And then we're going to explore about the origins of race and the nonsense of white supremacy. It's absolute nonsense, and we're going to be using science and logic. This is not my opinion, okay? If it's my opinion, I'm going to let you know it's my opinion, okay? And we're going to look at how words and language have been used as spell work. We're going to go really deep into that, and the etymology of roots and their words, yeah. Healing the planet, again, to me personally, if we heal ourselves, that will heal the planet. There's so much going on within us. We're like the mitochondrial DNA cells on this planet, and when she sheds, we die. When she has something going on with her, we die. We don't need, what is it, HARP or whatever, messing with the weather. When she decides that she's done, we don't need man-made viruses. We don't need man-made vaccines, because it won't be able to save us. It won't be able to help us. If she decides that she's had enough, billions of people will just die. All sorts of random things will happen and billions of people will die. So we need to be more concerned with healing ourselves so that she doesn't evict us. We do not want this planet to evict us, okay? So wealth redistribution, that ties into more than just money, okay? More than just money. I've traveled all over the world. I mean, there's a few places. There's some places that I haven't been to. I've been on multiple different continents, but there's a few places. I've been to Iceland. I haven't been to Russia, but I've been real close. There's a few places I haven't been. But it's more than just money, We can't go around taking people's children and selling them for body parts and shit. I mean, come on, you guys, come on. Seriously. So, and to me, that falls into the prostitute archetype. And we'll talk about the prostitute archetype more. We're going to talk about what does it mean to be in service to others versus service to yourself. What does it mean to really, truly be altruistic? Consciousness, ascension, and evolution. One of the things on there is know thyself. So to me, to know thyself has many, 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 many layers to it. And that's something that I've been working on since I was a child. And my parents and my teachers couldn't answer questions for me. And because I could see shadows and I could see people's highest version of themselves, I assumed that everybody else could too. And when I realized that that's not the way most people are designed, it totally shifted and changed the way that I perceived them and perceived everybody else, without judgment though. There's no judgment. I just realized, shit, I'm kind of on my own here with the way that I know and can see things. I can see people's shadows, and oh my gosh, they can't answer these questions because they're not even conscious of it. They haven't even realized it. It's like the veil is just still very heavily over their eyes. So to me, there's other things that need to be discussed, which have to do with like hiding ancient text and writings and plagiarizing it and taking it for yourself, taking identity theft, taking other people's who they are and saying that it's really you. Yeah, and again, people probably won't like some of the things that I'm going to say, but I'm just going to share it based on the things that I've studied and learned through traveling, through reading books, and I think my library of books is probably around $60,000 to $70,000 worth of books and texts that I actually physically have. So I'm not just pulling the stuff off the internet. You can't just trust what the internet is. You actually need to have these documents and these books in your physical possession, and you can contrast it with stuff that you see on the internet, because not everything that's on the internet is going to be accurate and going to be true. The other thing about consciousness, ascension, and evolution, to me, we need to be questioning if we're over-identifying with ourselves as a human in our human experience. Like, are we over-identifying with what it means to be a man, or what it means to be a woman, or what it means to be a person of color, or black or white or whatever? We're going to be breaking down the definition of those words and how we got to those words, what they meant before, and how they've been shifted and changed. Again, these are word spells, and we have to learn about the etymology of these words and the root of these words. And once we do, it's kind of like we kind of free ourselves, and we kind of can throw these things out of our backpack and feel a lot lighter and expand. What does inner work mean? We're going to go into stuff like that. The importance of knowing that you're a soul. Do you even know what your soul's purpose is? We're going to talk about that kind of stuff. Why did you incarnate? Do you have any idea why you incarnated? Do you know any ways that you could figure out why you incarnated and what your soul's purpose is? We're going to talk about collective shadow. That's what's playing out right now. Collective shadow at play. All the craziness, all the people. And it's very much connected to the planets. The planets have not aligned the way that they've been aligning like now since the times of the Knights Templar, when all their shit went down and they were all killed because some little punk ass didn't want to pay them. But that's a whole nother story. So to me, once we own our own individual shadow, it starts to heal the collective shadow. So what is your shadow? It's the things that you don't want people to see. It's the things that you maybe feel ashamed of. And we're going to go deep into shame. We're going to go deep into shame because it's on the very, very, very lowest level on the consciousness scale of calibration with Dr. David Hawkins. So, yeah. Then what else? Yeah, lower levels of consciousness. We're going to talk about the saboteur archetype and human experiences, breaking down the difference between love and fear, and that those are energy in motion. That means emotion. What can those things teach us? And we're going to talk a little bit about meditation and why to me it's important to travel, because the world is bigger than your little bubble that you're in. It's really important to go and see other people and their experiences and their culture, because then it helps you to be more open and more accepting. Yeah, because we're so super duper connected, and it's a big, beautiful world out there. It really, really is. And I would love to have been able to do the contest and give people, gift certificates to be able to travel. But with everything that's going on right now, it's just going to be cold, hard cash. That's what the contest is going to be. And we're getting really close. I just need to get a little bit more content out there and get it ready for you guys, because you do need to qualify for this contest because of the monetary value. So anyway, and also I wanted to touch on the fact that I still have not finished posting for my second visit in Kemet/Egypt. And from there I went to ancient Anatolia, aka Turkey. I also went back to Spain to visit my uncle when the shit started to hit the fan, late January, and then early February I was back in London to go get my library card from the British Library and to go to some more museums. So I'm going to be touching on all that stuff. So when you guys see those videos, no, I'm not in Egypt. No, I'm not in Turkey. No, I'm not in Spain. No, I'm not in London. I am in Sedona. That's where I'm at. All right, you guys, thanks so much for watching. Enlightened Bitch.